this type of thing actually shouldn't be that implausible or that eyebrow-raising or even that unlikely. Now, look, from a pure baseball perspective, I'll be honest with you. I think you could argue, Pete Alonso, for some big money deal, multiple years guaranteed, I'm good. We'll pass on that. Like, he is 30 years old. His numbers, while still impressive, at least from a power perspective, did dip from what they have been. He's been uber durable, played in every game last year, has played in at least 158 games in each of the last 3 years. Joey Votto used to do that. But, at some point he's going to get hurt. At some point injuries are going to catch up to him. By the way, for what it's worth, Pete Alonso, big name, huge homer in the playoffs against the Brewers, home run derby regular. Ellie De La Cruz had a higher OPS. By the way, Tyler Stevenson's OPS last year, 6 points lower. So from a baseball perspective, if it's a year, you might be going, dude, let's do it. Let's get Pete Alonso for a year. Let's watch him hit 50 home runs at GABP, and then he can go and he's reestablished his value, and the Reds get what they want in the short term, and maybe Pete gets what he wants in the long term, and we're good here. But you're being fair if you go, you know what, a 4 or 5 year commitment to a player like that, as good as he is, as powerful as he is, we're okay here. Guy's got a cool nickname, but I'm not paying for 5 years of having the ability to refer to polar bear on the home team. The problem, I think, though, is this. Not whether you would or wouldn't want Pete Alonso or how far-fetched it is to even consider the possibility of Pete Alonso being here. The problem is that when most of us saw this, we chuckled, and it was probably the first time all offseason long anybody even gave thought to Pete Alonso being a Red. Isn't that kind of the issue? Shouldn't we and the franchise itself be at a place where, regardless of market size, it's actually not that far-fetched to think that the Reds could get involved with a premier free agent? Now, you might go, well, yeah, the problem is baseball's economics. There's very good arguments that can be made that is the biggest issue. You could also make the argument that the Reds could sign Pete Alonso and they could jump into the Derby and maybe they're not going to offer him the most lucrative contract, but they should be in the mix. They can be in the mix. If they really, really, really wanted to be in the mix, they could be in the mix. They could pool their resources. They could find a way to get it done. Like, I understand that there are teams that don't have the revenues that the Yankees do or that the Mets do. We understand that. But it's still a Major League Baseball team that's worth a hell of a lot of money with nearly 24 owners. You mean to tell me that if they really wanted a guy like Pete Alonso, who is still on the last day of January unsigned, they couldn't put together their resources and get it done? Of course they could. The issue with this whole thing is not that I'm taking the bait, not even the merits of signing him or the merits of not being interested in him. The problem is every offseason, we laugh or scoff or dismiss the mere suggestion that the Reds could be involved with players of this stature. Because we've somehow accepted that, you know what? The Reds can't sign a guy like Pete Alonso.